Hey there.
Happy Wednesday at
Happy Wednesday on the back porch.
9:18. That's what we meant.
Wednesday on the back porch at 7. Hashtag.
Or 8.
8
Or 9:18.
or 9:18 inside the living room.
Somebody tell Sarita
Here we
we're
go.
okay. She's worried.
That's true, for real.
Understandably.
We're getting there.
It'll be 8.
Been a
She's checking on us.
good day. Well, as long as you're further away. I feel like there's space in between us. Dave Matthews song.
I am
The
further.
space between.
It's going to be a singing night.
That's
The
what we
later
have.
we are on, the more singing happens. Oh, I'm
The
wearing,
late-
okay. Should we ask which way this hat goes? We can't decide if it's backwards. This
Is
is
it
not the
backwards
time.
or
I've worn
forwards?
this hat all day. Now I'm like, did I wear it backwards?
I'm gonna close this one so I can see if there's any comments. I don't know if there's any comments or not. We're just gonna find out. If you comment,
I
if you're
think
there, let
this
us know.
way is like horns.
With the devil up. What is that?
I think I wore this at school backwards all day. Now I'm embarrassed.
That's awkward.
Now I'm embarrassed.
There's Lake Point Church up there.
I'm gonna
What's
take it.
going on? Like there's a thing up top? I don't know.
I think
I don't
it-
know what's
it
going
did
on.
that last week
If
too.
somebody is there, if you want to comment below, I am trying to decide
This is the
if the sound, I don't know. I know it's weird. I know I
Danny
care
is
too much about
really-
audio. I
Danny
care
is
too much
really
about
worried
audio.
about the audio.
But I do. There's some hearts and some
I feel like
things.
you are taking up 2/3 of the screen. I can't get any closer.
Oh, you can get closer.
No.
Come on over.
No,
Come on over, baby.
stop.
Watch this. Let's adjust it. We'll adjust the screen. Hang in there, y'all. Oh, we already lost some people. They're dropping like flies. Hey,
No,
happy
we're
Wednesday to everyone. No, we're not.
Yes, we are. See the wall? You can see.
From the window
Stop. What is wrong with you?
to the wall. Do you know the rest of that
This is
song?
church. Okay.
Those were just two random thoughts that came to my mind.
No.
What does from the window to the wall even
Stop,
mean?
Stop. Don't. Stop it.
Hope you had a great
How was your
Wednesday. I still,
Wednesday?
if there's comments, I don't see them. Do you see any comments? That's crazy. We'll just have to respond to you later. You know what I mean? It's been crazy.
I
Good
can-
Wednesday.
I'll do this. I'll pull it up here.
Don't pace yourself.
And then we'll see the comments.
Well, I'll be. It was a good Wednesday. It was a good Wednesday. Had a staff lunch, staff Christmas lunch. It was good. It was great.
Are you
And
excited?
I am. Wow, I'm seeing myself in. I can't. There's too much going on right now. There's 15 people
There's
watching
a lot
this.
of comments.
Oh wow.
Jennifer Mister said hello.
Hello, Jennifer Mestress. Saw your kids tonight.
Linda
They sang
Robinson
well.
is here.
Miss Linda, glad you're here with us
She
this
said
evening.
It sounds perfect.
Oh, Linda, you encourage me. You have the gift of encouragement along with the gift
And then
of service.
Tommy Robinson says, sounds like bacon frying in the background.
That's it.
You're on
Tommy,
Dan- you're on
if you
Danny's
can help
team.
me, Tommy.
Tommy
I don't
Bone said
understand.
sounds good. Heather says sounds like a waterfall.
Waterfall. It's like waterfall frying bacon. It's like if you were going off the edge of a waterfall with a frying pan of bacon.
And then
Hey, you turn yours up. Let's see what it sounds like. No, it's definitely not good sound quality. I even
Sorry,
bought.
guys.
I don't understand.
we even have a microphone now.
I
We're
don't understand
trying
what's
so
going
hard.
on. I don't get it. It's pretty frustrating when you think about it.
It's really not, but I understand that you want it to sound.
I just want y'all to be able to hear us well. But it's fine. It's look, people are leaving.
I'm
You know
gonna
why?
turn-
Sound quality.
I'm going to turn this back on, and we'll just watch the comments.
Understandable. We had a great Wednesday. It was a good time. Did you have a good Wednesday?
I did. I did it finals week, and we get to dress up every day, so it's fun. Today I was an elf, obviously. It was a backwards years. All day. Backwards years all day. Jennifer mentioned the coffee shop version is the best. Things high school students teach you. I'm trying to think. That was probably a comment from several minutes ago. So if more
My name is.
comments-
I understand. I understand. Coffee shop versions are the best.
So it's a good
I'm
Wednesday for me.
Good.
You asked. It's a good Wednesday, except for my backwards haircut.
That is all.
And then I took off the hat and the vest and all the things that made me look like an elf.
And you're
went
just Shantae?
shopping in a
Oh.
regular jacket, except that I still had my pants rolled up almost to my knees so that my elf socks were showing.
That's cute.
Well, it's cute unless you take the rest of the costume off, then you just look like a crazy person in Walmart. About halfway through, I was probably 30 minutes into shopping and I realized. And I had seen 2 students already and no one helped me. No one. Thanks, guys. Clean it up next time. But no, they
I think Jennifer Message just said from the window to the wall. It's the coffee shop version. Jennifer, did you go to Georgia College? Were you at that party? I
didn't. She
understand.
said, don't look it up.
Don't. No one Google it. No one Google
Nobody's
it.
allowed
That
to
was
Google it immediately following this conversation.
that was pre-preacher. You know what I mean? We were doing the
College
BSU, the Baptist
years.
Student Union thing. That was great. Oh, that's fantastic. I get it now, Jennifer Mestress. I'm there with you. I didn't dress up as an elf today.
Well, that's good. That'll be really fun. Tomorrow I'm going to be a Christmas tree.
Can you please tell them the story of the first time you were a Christmas tree in Haven Fellowship Youth Group?
So the first time I was a Christmas tree, that's pretty much the story. We we told the kids at
Youth
church,
group kids.
youth group
This is
kids.
before we even had kids.
We didn't have children of our own. We told our youth group that we were going to go to the church property. We had like 7 acres or something.
No, we had like 38. We had property back then.
But we had
Still do. Haven Fellowship.
usable property. Anyway, we told them we were going to go chop down a tree and decorate a tree.
Yeah,
out
we're
of
going to
the church
chop down a
property.
tree in the woods. And the kids were like Rockdale kids. Like,
We were like, why would we do that?
I don't think we're supposed to chop down trees. Like, it's our property. We can do whatever we want. I had an
Really?
axe, everything.
But really, we weren't. It was
Really, we
me.
weren't. It was a
I was
setup.
dressed up as a tree. I
Shante
don't
was in a
know,
green sheet in the woods, and
with
we
a head
went
hole cut in it,
with a head hole.
and they
we
spray
did.
painted.
We
me.
spray painted
Yep.
fake snow and decorated her with ornaments. And then we chopped her down and took her to the youth group.
I
It
don't
sounded like a
remember.
blast when I was 22
It
years
was
old.
a blast.
It was a
but I don't know
blast.
where the idea came from.
At 36, we're not doing that. I'm like, nah, just
Now it
just no.
sounds. Now I understand all of the older people in the church who were like, "That sounds weird."
That's weird.
But I'm glad you
Sure,
guys
your
liked
youth group's growing.
it. It was a fun memory.
It was a very fun memory. I absolutely really enjoyed
Sometimes
it.
Cheryl Wilson's here. She'll remember it if it comes up.
Miss
in-
Cheryl?
Yeah, she was there.
Miss Cheryl will comment. I'm thankful for you.
No,
that
it was a
a good
fun
time.
time. So this is not the first time I will be a Christmas tree, but
Maybe the last.
hopefully the last. I thought it was a weird theme for the tomorrow. Every single person is a Christmas tree.
You should
Today
take
you could
my-
be any Christmas character. but tomorrow's
On
Christmas.
Sunday in the sermon, I referenced my favorite Little Debbie cake, which is Christmas trees, the Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. And I arrived home to find out that Shannon Stevens, someone had dropped off 4 ginormous size.
Those
Like these things are the size
things
of
are huge.
half of my face, which is a massive face. And it's so like they're so massive that when I eat them, I get about halfway through and start to feel a little artificial on the inside. You know, like all the artificial things in there.
I need to know, are they all larger this year? Or is this a special box?
I don't know.
Did she just hit the jackpot?
All I know is
for
it's
the right
amazing. It's
Christmas tree for
as my friend Justin would say, life changing. It'll change your life.
Legend. That's what he
Legend.
also would say.
It's true. Look, I even moved the phone and you're still on the edge.
I know. And we're like, at an angle. This is weird.
See, let's read what she says, Isabel.
It's just,
She's spirit.
these comments are awesome tonight. I wish
I'm
we
about to
could
read
see
those
them
later. I
live.
wish I could see them on
We're
here.
a little delayed because they're
I'll just sit
not
on this
coming
side.
through. Look, we can't get together tonight.
We just
We
can't.
don't know.
We can't. Let's just
It's
call
late.
it.
We don't really know.
It's late. Man, you can see the coffee from that angle. Look at
I
that.
know,
What's he drinking in that cup? Coffee? Really? Really? It's coffee.
It's really coffee. There it is because we're at an angle.
I feel skinnier.
That's,
My
it's not the effect. I'm sorry. Not for you. For us, but
I don't know whose wife
know
just
what?
called them fat in the last 12 seconds and then spit in their eye, but mine did both of those things. No offense. But here it goes. Let's watch reaction. This is great, and people are like, "This
Chelsea
is
said
insane.
she was there
This is
for
too
the
much."
chopping down.
Chelsea, you were there.
And
Thanks
it
for
was
hanging.
top 10 most funny things I've been a part of. Top 10.
Oh, it was fantastic. We're just here for life change.
It
That's
sounds
all.
weird, and it was weird, but it's a memorable.
Some people, you know, like old Billy Graham when he was in his 20s, he was doing crusades in Los Angeles.
We were
Not
pretending
us.
to chop
We were chopping down fake Shantae
human,
trees.
Human Christmas trees.
Oh man, Haven Youth Group, wherever you are, we're
We
thankful
love you
for
guys. You're
We're thankful
sweet,
for you.
sweet memories.
No, tonight at church we had the kids practicing for our services on Sunday. It's going to be a blast. 9/11. You can also watch online, and then
They
also
are adorable.
it's adorable, absolutely adorable. They have costumes and everything. Leanne is knocking it out of the park with these costumes, and she's got the teacher voice. Leanne, I don't know if you watch this on teacher voice is down.
In a good way.
I'm not going to talk. I'm sitting in the room, and me and Tyler look at each other, and
You have that many kids in a room in costumes. You have to have a teacher voice. It's not going to be
yeah.
good.
Leanne, I hope you're watching that. There was one point I was in the balcony trying to find something for the thing on Saturday, and I heard Leanne straight up call those children to
A timeout?
a time of prayer.
Oh.
And they went into a time of prayer. I was like, all right, I like some spirituality. This is good. Like talking to the Lord in the prayer, Leanne, and all my people. If you don't respect our children's director, she straight up prayed for them. to do better the next go around. Like she said, you know what? We know, like they did an excellent job leading up to it. But in
They
the
were like,
prayer,
"Oh,
I was
we are
like,
not
that's
meeting the
what's
standard."
up right there. It was fantastic. We are very thankful for it. Wonderful. But no, we're also going to be singing this Saturday. If you're looking for something to do this Saturday, in Rutledge, Georgia. It's small, but it's really special. We're gonna have our Lake Point Christmas downtown Rutledge, a sleigh ride. It's gonna be a blast. Hot chocolate. Santa Claus is going to be there, y'all. We're going to have a guy taking photos. It's going to be really, really good. So come on out. We're also doing a live nativity, and our praise
live
team's going to be there singing some live music. So come on out. It starts at 3 o'clock. It'll be done right around 5, but we're going to put a big screen up and shine a movie on that Joker. So if you want to stay later and watch that, it's just going to be a really fun night. So plan on coming out this Saturday from 3 to 5 in Rutledge. Should be a great time.
It's gonna be great. It's called a Lake Point Christmas, but none of the staff can ever remember what
It's called a Lake Point Christmas.
And I don't think
in the
you've made
RTL.
a single announcement about it without saying the tagline "Small but Special."
It's
I
a
don't
good
think
tagline.
I don't think you've made it through one single announcement without.
It's on the
saying
water
it.
tower.
I know. Small but special. It
Thanks,
is
Rutledge.
the description of Rutledge.
It
It's
is
a
the
very
description-
accurate description.
100%. So that's going to be Saturday and then Sunday, and then we have Christmas Eve services, y'all, next Christmas Eve time, next Thursday at 4 and 6. If you'd like to watch it online, we'll have that option as well. Let folks watch it online too. So
Also, are we still doing the take home?
we will have,
kit?
okay, yep, this Sunday, y'all, we're going to have to go, we'll have the candles. If you would, we totally understand, the world's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? So if you would rather or be more comfortable having Christmas Eve service at home or in a smaller gathering, we're going to have candles and little communion to goes, and some stuff for folks to pick
Just
up
like
this
a
Sunday
Christmas
after
Eve at
service.
home kit.
Or just stop by the church office next Monday or Tuesday, and we'll have some things there for people to pick up as you're heading out. Yeah, just a Christmas Eve at home kind of kit. So we'd love for y'all to pick one of those up. But
Yeah,
no,
that would be a sweet thing for us to get a picture of. If you are planning on being at home with your family and you're able to get
Yes.
candlelight, please take a picture
Take a
of that.
picture of
and
that.
Share it with us, or
Mhm.
join us live virtually
Yeah.
and then have your candlelights. It would be neat. Think
That'd
that
be
our
really neat.
candles are all over town. So
All
that'll
over
be
town.
really, really sweet.
we're gonna have a good time with it.
Yep.
So we're looking forward to that and seeing what's going to come from it. I mean it's Christmas is, as my daughter reminded me on the way home tonight. After a couple of hours, 9 days away. So
There's a great debate in our house of how to count the days. The kids do not agree. Do you count the day you're in? Do you not count the day you're in? Do you count how many times you're going to sleep? It's 8 or 9, depending on which child you ask.
we have opinionated children. They get it honest. You know what I mean?
It all stemmed from the elf brought, it's 10 more days till Christmas, pajamas.
Yeah.
And then we had but it's not really 10. I don't know, it's like a whole conversation, but is it 9 or 10?
Yeah, my kids lose me sometimes because they ask questions that I've never considered in life, ever. And we're in that stage, which is fun, but they're asking some questions. You're serious.
Mainly, they just want to argue. So if one kid says it's 9, the other kid says no, it's definitely 10.
Today, at one point, my kids were in the car, and out of nowhere from the back, I'm talking nowhere in the back seat, the question was asked, "Hey, Daddy, who has the deepest voice you've ever heard?" That's a great question if you think about it. We came up with some good answers. Actually, Maurice, from church, was one of the first. Caroline said
does.
Maurice has a deep voice. I was like,
He does.
well played, Caroline. He does.
I think about that guy on Gaither's Plantation. No.
What are you doing at Gaither's Plantation? Gaither's Plantation.
Just Gaither's.
Just Gaither's.
Vocal.
The vocal band. They might have been at Gaither's Plantation for a wedding or
No.
something one time.
Nope. Just the
Gaither,
Gaithers.
the vocal band. Yeah. Not the,
It's late.
that's what I was thinking, like the old school
As soon
quartet
as
kind
I
of.
said it, I was like, that's
You
not
know,
right.
Gaither's Plantation.
But that one guy that sings a whole octave below, you know, you were there.
We saw him.
We've seen him
We
live.
took a crew.
We've seen him live twice. Or
We
once.
once. Well,
Maybe.
that I know of. Once. It was fantastic. though.
Before we had our own church campus to lead, we were just associate pastors, and mostly we did youth, but sometimes we did the Free Spirits albums.
Those were fun.
Free Spirits is what you're called when you're not old. But
Your
you're
spirit
also
is
not
free.
young.
The first free spirit trip I ever took, okay, was to Savannah, Georgia. And my grandmother, Nemaw, went on that trip with me. It's fantastic. I went and picked her up. We got in her 2000
2000,
Honda Accord, and we drove to Savannah. I had only done youth trips up until this point, so I was always like, you gotta go in your rooms, stay in your rooms. If you sneak out of your rooms, you're gonna send you home. That whole thing. Well, on the first, this is a true story. On the first Free Spirit trip I ever took, my grandmother and I, we had gone to Savannah. We did River Street. And we had a great time. She said, "I'm kind of tired. Let's go up to the room." I was like, "Yeah." I mean, it's like 7:30. That makes sense. So we go up to the room, and we got settled in. It wasn't 7:30. It was like 9:30. We got settled in and had a great night's sleep. Great night's sleep. The next morning, I woke up at breakfast and I noticed that most of my senior adults were acting kind of awkward around me. I was all of 25 or 4 years old. I was like, "This is what's going on, guys. I feel like something's going on." And finally,
Like, you're
one
not
of them
telling me something.
confessed and said, "Well, Danny, last night." I was like, "Okay." Like, I've had that happen before with teenagers.
You should have put masking tape on the doors.
I should have put masking tape on the doors. They said last night, after me and my grandmother went to our room to get some shut eye, they decided to see
I want to see the town.
the town / margarita night 2 blocks over. No joke. One of them wanted to go to margarita night.
Which they walked
Well, they
to.
walked there and got lost on their way back. So they walked around downtown Savannah
You know what
for
happened? You
a
know
couple
this
of
happened.
hours.
This was a trip that I didn't attend with you. And that was always an issue.
Hey, all I'm
I
saying
was
is
the
senior adult parties.
I was the
Take the
one
cake.
on typically youth trips that would collect all of the notarized forms, admission slips, and when there were trips that I didn't go on, it always went. But that one we didn't expect.
I didn't expect that. That was a surprise to me.
We didn't expect that Gene Smith would be roaming around the streets of
Gene
Savannah.
Smith, they took pictures of him
2 a.m.
to show me the next day. They had pictures. It was just a good time.
Good old
So,
Gene. If you guys knew Gene Smith, he was
Sweet
a
man.
character,
yep.
and it doesn't even surprise me that he was roaming around the streets of
That's right.
Savannah. It surprised me that you didn't catch him sooner.
We didn't catch him sooner. And now, since that day, I've wanted to be a senior adult pastor. Not a senior pastor, senior adult
adults.
pastor. Because
They are the best.
they know how to live. They
They
know how to
do.
live. And we're going to get there one day. So,
The Gaithers singer is J.D. Sumner.
Tommy McFarland, did you know that off the top of your head, or
I'm
did you
sure you
Google it?
did. I feel like you probably did.
Tommy,
And
look it
then-
up, bro. The next time the Gaithers are in town, me and you are, if you want. If not, we'll go see the Beach Boys or somebody else. I say we
The reason
go.
the whole senior ministry came up is because we took our free spirits to see Gaithers.
We took our free spirits to see Gaithers.
Gaithers Christmas.
Gaithers Christmas. It was exceptional. I'm
First,
not
we
gonna
took
lie.
them to the Chick-fil-A in Gwinnett County. That's, anyway, it was like way too much for them.
It was
They
a
were
whole
very
thing.
overwhelmed.
It was
So-
a whole thing.
so much.
They
It's
tend
a
to
big
plan
city.
things out like 6 months in
We took 'em to
advance,
the big
and I was
city.
trying to decide what I was doing that night. So it was a really fun trip. Some of my favorite people in the world were on that trip. Really, really good. So
People are also asking, what time do the kids need to be there? I believe on Saturday the kids need to be there at 2:30. I think they're doing a little dress rehearsal, and they'll actually perform at 4 o'clock. So the event
That's
starts
correct.
at 3.
The
and
event
then
starts
the
at
actual
3.
performance, so you can tell grandparents or
Yep.
anybody, teachers. I think a few teachers are maybe
want to come
gonna
out.
try
They're going to be performing. That's right.
at 4.
At 4 o'clock. So about 3:45, our praise team's going to kick up and just do a couple of fun sing-alongs, kind of get everybody gathered around. We don't know how many folks are going to be there, so we're kind of preparing for just a wide range. We're actually going to, if you're in the Santa line, if you see somebody that's in that Santa line, at a certain point, we're going to say, hey, we're going to take a break for a little bit, give Santa Claus a break, and also give folks some time to come around, like the singing area. So the praise team will kind of start singing, get everybody's attention. Kids will sing, and it's a cool setup. It's a really, really neat thing. And then after that, the praise team will sing a couple of worship songs, and we'll continue. It's going to be a really good night.
I'm excited.
All right.
Right? You keep saying it's going to be like a Hallmark movie, and I'm like, that's a high standard, but I think we're going to do it.
It is a high standard.
I've
Hallmark
been a
has set
part of
that
all the
standard
group
high.
texts. If you guys ever get a chance to see the group texts that our entire Madison campus staff is a part of,
They're entertaining,
it's a lot.
to say the least.
It's a lot. You can
We
get
like
100 text
we like
messages in an hour.
puns. We
Yes.
like puns.
But based on that conversation, I'm excited.
It's gonna be a good time, y'all.
A lot of planning's going into it.
A lot of planning,
A lot of
and
good
you know, it's a needed time. So we're looking forward to that. If you know somebody that's looking for something, just to get out a little bit.
It's outside, so
outside.
that's good. You can spread out
That's right.
through the whole town. We've got the whole town
Weird.
shut down. My student was today telling his friends, we're shutting the whole town down. You need to come out. We're closing it down.
Boom.
So we're closing
Drop
it
the
down.
mic.
I'm excited. It's going to be good.
I'm excited. It'll be good. Yeah, for real, it's gonna be great. So for real, I'm not joking. It's gonna be great. So come on out, y'all. If you got any other questions, let me know. We're looking at Shawnee's phone along with
Yeah.
the screen. We'll just
Very
answer them all we
high-tech.
can. We're trying all kinds of new things. Tonight, just, you got any other announcements or anything this year?
I'm good.
Just really briefly, okay? And because it is late, and I know most of y'all are looking forward to getting back to Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime
Something
or
way more
Disney
entertaining
or sleep
than
or
this.
reading the Bible. Whatever you're doing this evening, I highly respect that. Most of the things that you do. But I was thinking
They'll
tonight,
let you
right
know.
before I
You tell
jumped
us
on
what you're
here,
doing. They'll let
okay?
you know
And
respect.
just hang in there with us if you want to. If you need to go, I understand. But right before I got on here, I was wondering because I was watching the kids do their
Second
skits.
before.
It was second as I sat down with this cup of coffee. I was thinking about the kids singing and all that stuff, and for I don't know, like one of those random questions from the back seat today about the man with the deepest voice in the world. It hit me when the shepherds saw the angel, and that's what we've been talking about in church the last couple of weeks. Behold, we bring you good news of great joy for all people. We've been kind of camping out there, peace and joy. And this Sunday's on love. But the shepherds got the word, and then after that, it's pretty cool. In Luke chapter 2, no joke, one angel's in the sky, and then it says a host of angels, which
The
means
heavenly host,
the
to be
heavenly,
exact.
lots and lots
We
of
know
angels
that
in the
much.
sky. This is pre-television, pre-electronics, so I'm thinking at this moment the shepherds are like, that's a big deal. That's kind of big. No joke. This is what the Bible, which we believe at Lake Point to be true and without error, the Bible says that the shepherds said seconds after, I think it's seconds, the angels left. Okay? So it's like angel, one, angels, plural, plural, plural. Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth. Verse 15. When the angels had gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds began to say to one another, yo, we should go to Bethlehem. We need to go check this thing out. So they get together and like, hey, maybe we should do what these jokers just said to do. So they did.
Do you think the angels could have given Mary a heads up?
No, I don't think they did. It would
Because
have
let
been
me
wrong.
tell you what you're not expecting. If you just had a baby
That's a
in a
good
barn,
point, though.
you're not expecting a bunch of shepherds to show up.
Hey, who are these random men walking in, Joe?
I think the
They're
one
the
thing
shepherd
in Mary's
boys.
mind was like, hey, at least no one in the world knows where we are.
That is kind of true. Like when they shut down the visiting hours for having a baby time, you're like, okay, it's
You're
quiet
like,
time.
it's not the worst rule.
We can work with this.
I know
We
our
can live with
family's
this.
probably sad, but we're okay.
That's right.
There were no visiting hours in that barn, and I'm certain that Mary didn't expect shepherds to work. I can't
that's right.
imagine that she was like, let's get ready for the
Hey, y'all.
shepherds to drop in on us.
Lots and lots of
unexpectedly.
shepherds. Well, that's the question that came to me was the shepherds get the word from the angels, and the angels say, go and see what just happened. So they say, hey, maybe we should go and see what happens. It says they come in a hurry, and they find their way to Mary and Joseph and the baby as he lay in the manger. That's the part that stood out to me. How long did it take? For real. It could have just been a few minutes. In my mind, this is based off of no fact whatsoever. I think it was more than just a few minutes for a couple of reasons.
I
One,
hope so.
I think, let's just be honest, the Lord's dignified. Two, I really think some special conversations happened in whatever amount of time it was before the shepherd showing up between Mary and Joseph and the baby. Like those moments, like in a hospital room when you have a baby with the nurses and doctors and all the stuff going on. Like, and now it's different. I know people want to share the pictures of the world as soon as they can and stuff, but like that moment, like before you go out and say, hey, we did that with our third one. We didn't know what it was going to be, a boy or a girl, until he was born. It's when I got to go out in that in-between time where everybody's like sitting in the waiting room like, what, is it a boy, is it a girl, is it twins, what's going on? And I was able to go out and say, it's a boy, and that was so cool. But just think, man, back then, how cool it would be, one, because they just had their first baby, and then also it was Jesus. And they had seen angels and stuff too. Like they knew this was a huge deal. I've seen one funny thing recently, and it said, yeah, I think Mary knew, I think she knew. But about the song, Mary,
Pretty
did you know?
sure.
It's like, pretty sure Mary knew, So, but that idea of just the special moments in that between. So in the in-between, the shepherds showing up in Mary and Joseph. That's, I don't know, that was just on my mind today.
Yeah, I'm
Knowing
sure
that they
it's a
had some
very special
serious
time.
conversations, but also just that moment of like, hey, this just really
I think
happened.
it probably just made it super real. I mean, obviously she's been pregnant for 9 months, but a lot of it doesn't click until, I mean, especially like you remember when Luke was born, you don't really know what it is to be a parent until the baby is here. And then it's like, oh, this is very real. And so you add in the whole fact that he was the Savior of the world, and that they had been clued in by angels. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
He's the Messiah that you've prayed for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So he's the fulfillment of all these things, and they know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would actually see that it would make it such a
That much more
deal.
real. Because the angel said, and we believe, I mean, Mary was a virgin. There was no guy, and that was the Lord that did that. Do you think? And I'm not being disrespectful. I wonder, like, do you think at some point in there did they think, well, what's he going to look like? Like,
I'm sure
is he
they
going to
did.
look like us? Is he going to look like an angel? Is he going to be glowing? Is he going to be
yeah.
some other color? Like, what's he going to look like? So for him to come out and go, that's what he looks like. That's definitely what he looks like.
Eddie is asking a lot of good questions that I have too.
All right.
How far do you think they were from Bethlehem? And also, what did they do with the sheep?
Eddie, those are fantastic questions. One, they slaughtered the sheep on the
No.
spot. They had a massive barbecue because they couldn't eat pork. Sheep it up. You know what I'm talking about? This is a cool fact, y'all. This is a really
That
cool
is
fact, and I'm not making this up.
terrible.
This is factual and it's truth. The shepherds outside of Bethlehem, this is fascinating to me. The shepherds that were outside of Bethlehem, which is known as the city of David, right? It's the city of bread, okay? So Jesus is called the living bread, and he's from the lineage of David. They really believe, archaeologists and historians really believe, that the shepherds outside of Bethlehem in particular had the sole responsibility of raising the lambs that were used for sacrifice in the temple in Jerusalem. So there's a very good chance that these same shepherds left the lambs that would be sacrificed in the temple later to go and visit the Lamb of the world. That's actually fascinating to me. But yeah, I don't know if all of them went. I mean, they wouldn't want to get fired, so now they did it in like shifts or whatever. The city wasn't a very big place. We're talking, that's just me. I think within a mile, or definitely within a mile or two. How far out in the fields they were, I don't think they would have gone too far out in the fields because it was night. They'd have probably come a little bit closer into the city. I think it was in a decent amount of walking distance. And it says they hurried to Mary and Joseph. So I think they knew they weren't going to have to do like an overnight bag. They wouldn't have to like plan this thing out. So yeah, it was close enough for them to get there before the sun came up. If it was in the middle of the night before the sun came up. What happened to the sheep? That's a good question. I think
Maybe the sheep were asleep, like bedded down. I don't know.
they were good little
I don't
lambs.
know anything about sheep.
Those
at
shepherds said, "Now you little lambs, you listen to me. If you leave this flock, you're going down." No, there were a number of shepherds.
Probably some shepherds that didn't.
Some shepherds that didn't get to go. I'm sure they said
Probably like the youngest
they
one,
drew
like, you
lots
have
or
to
something like
stay,
that.
something like that.
But yeah, and it says that when they got to them, if there's any other questions, that's awesome. I love that. But when they got to Mary and Joseph, I've also wondered, just now I'm wondering, in that moment, like, and I'm sure they knocked on the door or knocked on the wood stall or whatever, but for Mary and Joseph to have these guys come in, because I know Mary and Joseph believed, but they were the only people on the planet, as far as we know at the time, that fully understood everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then in walks the door, knocks on the door, a few guys that said, "You're not going to believe what we just saw," and they told us to come here. And lo and behold, they were. I mean, that's fascinating to me to wonder, what were those conversations like? Because again, y'all, everybody in that country, they've been waiting for a Messiah for years and years and years, and to actually see it. But again, their mind's true, like, because they had. And Jewish people today, I mean, the Jewish faith today is waiting for a Messiah to come. Non-believing Jews, non-followers of Christ Jews are waiting for a Messiah to come big and shining and majestic and as a king. And for them to go, this is the Messiah and he's a baby. That's a powerful couple moments, I'm sure.
I hope that by then the innkeeper had been notified and maybe he was being a little more helpful. But that's my imagination.
If I was Joseph,
if you're Joseph in that situation,
way out, I'd have
at
been like,
least go knock on the front door again and say, "Hey, now
baby Jesus is here.
we need your help."
Baby
I don't
Jesus
know, but
is on the
maybe
scene.
the innkeeper doesn't make a reappearance in the script, so it's hard to say.
That innkeeper got a bad rap. I mean, he missed his chance, But
I mean, he did at least offer the stable, so I have to feel like he did something. But he really does come off looking like, oh, he's a jerk.
kind of a jerk.
And then
Well,
it's
we
not
don't
like
know.
later you're like, oh, well, at least he brought a blanket for the baby. No.
And as
Swaddling
far
rags.
as swaddling rags, well, as far as we know, in the scripture, as far as we know, no one else was there with them. As far as we know, it was just Mary and Joseph. I need to
Yeah, we
reread it
don't
real
know.
quick and see if it's specified for real. But if everybody in your family had to go and pay taxes to the town of their birth or their lineage, it should have just been Joseph. Like he should have had some
Should be
brothers
at
or
least all the
parents
men
or
of his
somebody
lineage.
there. unless he was representing the whole city, the whole family. I don't think they just sent the guy with the really pregnant wife to represent the whole family. But all that to say, they were very alone. They were very, very alone on the first Christmas night, which is powerful and miraculous and special, but also scary. I would think. Like, you figure Mary, and we've talked about this before in services. Like our tradition, and we have doctors and hospitals, and those are all miracles of heaven. I love them. But in Mary's day, like, women were surrounded by other women to give birth. Like, it was customary for other women to gather and do
Yeah,
that.
at most a midwife, but that's
At
not
most.
even always.
And then it was a huge celebration. Like in your hometown, you would celebrate when a healthy baby boy, especially when a healthy baby was born. I was reading one thing last year that was talking about when the shepherds showed up, how long did they stay? Did they come singing a song? Did they come? You figure if it is the middle of the night, if it's nighttime, not a lot of Netflix taking place, a bunch of shepherds going down. Like if it's just me, shepherds aren't the calmest, quietest people I've ever met. They can
Probably not.
scare away lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! But for them to walk through the streets, it probably was a commotion as well. I mean, other people very likely were awakened by this. I would think, especially by the shepherds coming saying, "What's going on?" So I was reading a thing last year. And it was talking about, what if somehow, and this isn't biblical, there's just pondering, but what if somehow through some of that, some of the women in the inn came down who were all Jewish? Could it be, that those
Like,
details
what
were in
would
there?
have been the
Could some of the women
normal-
come down and said,
Yeah.
"Oh, my child,"
Surely.
were there other women there that just aren't mentioned? We don't know some of those things. But
I always also, for some reason, end up wondering, like, were there inns? Like, was a hotel a thing?
You
Were
could
people
rent out-
just sort of like Airbnb, like, here's a room, you can
Yeah.
stay in this room, or you can stay in the back, or you can
Yeah.
whatever. So it doesn't. I'm sure
It was
wasn't
more
very
that. It
formal.
wasn't
I'm
like a
sure it was
Holiday
more
Inn.
Like a dwelling.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a dwelling place where people would come and
So to
extended
me,
family would
that's
come and
even
stay.
more likely to be that people would have caught on quickly. Hey, something's going on in the stable.
What is going on in the stable? And that's just crazy.
I'm sure
Completely
our
changed.
imaginations cannot grasp what actually happened.
Cannot grasp it. And I saw some beautiful, I thought it was really cool, a thing buddy of mine, old Presbyterian, Dan Walden, he shared it yesterday, and it had, and I'll share it on my Facebook in a little bit, it had different pictures, modern day Mary and Joseph, like what would, because in our mind, they're cute, they're in the manger, and it's all like 2,000 years ago.
Glowing, clean.
But this has them in different contexts, for real, where even me, I gotta confess, even me, I look at it and go, I wouldn't be in that, like, what's going on in that picture?
Not necessarily appropriate.
And, like, y'all, they were staying in the inn, they weren't, it was just a hard time. But to know that Jesus was born into that, crazy, absolutely crazy. Any other questions on that? Everybody good?
Eddie just said, I bet when the people started showing up to see Jesus, Joseph and Mary had to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Certain.
I'm sure they were overwhelmed.
Jennifer Mish just said, I can't with that song. Everything that Mary had to go through as a mom, seeing her baby crucified and knowing she couldn't live him.
Yeah.
She should be.
Oh,
rewarded in
Mary,
heaven.
did you know? Absolutely. And I think she is. Y'all, I don't know. And that's what, my phone's probably about to die.
She
in a little
clearly
bit.
knew.
She
and
clearly knew. And
throughout
Jesus,
Jesus's
at the
life,
end
I
of his
think
life,
she
some of his last words on the
understood
cross
more
were,
than-
take care of mom. Some of his last words, I'm dying for the sins of the world, take care of my mom. So powerful. And like we kind of talk about Sunday a little bit, like that's the reality of this stuff. Like our faith, y'all, and I'm serious, our faith was not created in the middle of the desert with one guy. It wasn't created in the middle of the woods with tablets showing up. It was created in a town with lots and lots and lots of witnesses. And Bethlehem wasn't a massive city. We're not talking about hundreds of thousands of people. We're talking about a few hundred, like not a massive town. So for the word to spread, like some of these same people, like could the shepherds, these same shepherds, like went away. Some people are probably like, that makes sense. Other people in their lives are probably like, that's a crazy story, not believing it, crazy shepherds. But y'all, there's a chance that some of these guys saw Jesus multiple times throughout his ministry, There's a chance that some of the same people in this town on this night were at Calvary when Jesus was crucified, We don't have all those details, but we know that God chose to show up on the scene in a humble way, but still the word definitely spread. So I was just encouraged by that. I have a lot of other questions in there, and one day we'll get to ask
sort
the
of
Lord.
imagine all the different things that could have been going on, might
Yeah.
have happened,
Yeah,
but we do know that it was that animals were involved, shepherds were involved, a baby was born in a barn.
Yeah.
That's no small feat.
That's right. Because it says at the
The
end they
details we do
hurried
know are
and found Mary and Joseph. They were lying with the baby in the manger.
mm-hmm.
When they told them what the angels had said. And all who heard it, that's the point I was getting to, all who heard it wondered at the things which were told them by the shepherds. Which means they weren't keeping quiet. They're like,
I'm sure.
this is insane. And telling
Even in
other
a
people.
small town, word of mouth, especially in a small town. Things
Yep.
travel fast.
That's right.
Like, did you hear what happened last night? The
You're
shepherds
not
said
gonna
they
believe
saw
this.
100 angels. I'm like, did it? That's crazy.
That's
We
crazy.
didn't really hear that.
Yep.
I'm like, no, there's a real baby. You can go see him.
Yeah.
I'm
Or was
sure.
It, I don't know. And I don't know.
I'm
Was
sure
it one of those things
words
where the
spread
angels, because I'm not going to lie, somebody said my name Sunday morning on stage. I don't know what's going on with that. Kind of freaked me out. But was it one of those things where the angels just appeared to the shepherds and only they saw it and heard it? Was it one of those things where some people in the outskirts of town heard something singing in the distance? I mean, if you got hundreds of angels singing a song, unless it's just in another realm kind of thing where just some people are seeing it, other people are going to pick up on that. And at the very end of that verse, in verse 20, it says the angels, the shepherds, went away singing and praising God for all that he had done. So they went through the streets of Bethlehem singing. So
I imagine
it's
it's quite
cool.
a scene.
I'm just thinking, and it says Mary treasured all these things in her heart, and then it closes out. Like you said earlier, and I think Jennifer Mestress mentioned earlier, this idea that in a culture where family and support and community were vital, I just think on that holy, holy night, Mary was able to get some of those things. You know, there's a chance that some of those women gathered around and did some of the same things that would have happened in their other towns. So anyway, God chooses to work. He chooses to work in that. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, y'all. That's all I got. You got anything else?
I'm good.
We'll see everybody. We are having services Sunday morning at 9, 11, and online. We are encouraging you. If you're not feeling well, stay home. If you're nervous, stay home.
Join online.
If you want to come to church,
From a distance.
know that other people are coming. You know what I mean? But join online from a distance. For real. But come on out, y'all, or join us online, and we'll be there. And then also on Christmas Eve. But first, join us in Rutledge this Saturday from 3 to 5. It's going to be an absolute blast. It's
The
small,
Lake
but
Point
special.
Christmas.
A Lake Point Christmas. Talk to you later, guys. Thankful for you. Have a great night.